Yo, what's up, people? It's your boy. I'm Chris Don One, and I'm back with another live stream, another video. We're gonna be talking about Isaiah Thomas. Had some choice words about the Cleveland Cavaliers, but before we begin, rate, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell. You know what you got to do. We're about to get into this topic, all right? Also, go check out my other channel, Messy Media U. It's a comedy channel, so sometimes I upload videos over there as well as my gaming channel, Playthrough Media. That channel is going to be exclusively for streaming video games. So, all right, go check out those channels if you would. Rate, comment, subscribe those channels as well. Isaiah Thomas was talking to a reporter, and he figured out the magic formula on why the Cleveland Cavaliers are struggling. Now, Isaiah Thomas, if you've been following this channel, I even quoted it in my own channel when reporters was asking Isaiah Thomas about the Cleveland Cavaliers. He feel like the Cleveland Cavaliers do not practice as much. Because practice, like I said in a lot of videos, in basketball, you can have the most talented team, but if that talented team does not practice on a consistent basis to build chemistry and confidence with one another, then that team will struggle. You can have the most talented team, the Portland Trailblazers, when they had Scottie Pippen, when they had Rasheed Wallace and Bonzi Wells, as well as those other players. They could never get past the Lakers, and they were clearly a talented team in the early stages of that team than the Los Angeles Lakers, right? But you can have all the talented people on one squad. You can make your own all-star squad. But at the end of the day, if you do not practice, how can you build confidence and chemistry with the other teammates? And that's basically what Isaiah Thomas is gunning. Isaiah Thomas' play style is different from the other individuals of the Cleveland Cavaliers. The Cleveland Cavaliers are an older team, all right? J.R. Smith can't do what J.R. Smith was accustomed of doing when he was with the Denver Nuggets and the early stages of the New York Knicks. J.R. Smith had other weapons at his disposal when he was much younger. Mainly his athleticism. His athleticism has passed because he's an older player. The same could be said for Kevin Love. The reason why Kevin Love isn't the same Kevin Love from Minnesota is because Kevin Love was pretty much the only talented player Minnesota Timberwolves had, so they drew plays for him to get the ball the majority of the time. That's why you do not see Kevin Love being like Kevin Love at the Minnesota Timberwolves. Plus, he's getting a little older, all right? A lot of that athleticism is pretty much evaporated, all right? And LeBron James has been in the league for a long, long time. There's a lot of mileage on those shoes, all right? You know, every now and then you see flashes of the old LeBron James, like back with the Miami Heat, but you don't see it on a consistent level. Plus, he's doing more. All right, he's literally the point guard of his team. All right, but Isaiah Thomas is a younger player. Well, younger than the players that they have. Okay, and what he is saying holds value. You have to, in order to have, in order to build chemistry and know your player's strengths and weaknesses, you're going to have to practice. And what Isaiah Thomas failed to realize is when you have an older squad, they can't practice on a consistent level. Now, there's a lot of things LeBron James have done wrong in this season. And there's a lot of things I can disagree with LeBron James. But the one thing I could agree with, because I feel like this is coming from LeBron James, as well as the other players, but LeBron James has the biggest voice, is that they don't want to practice every day. All right? It's not necessary to them because the main players have been playing with each other for a while. So everyone knows their strengths and weaknesses, all right? Dwayne Wade has played with LeBron James with the Miami Heat. He understands LeBron's strengths and weaknesses as well as LeBron understands Dwayne Wade's strengths and weaknesses. Same to be said for Kevin Love, Christian Thompson, as well as the other members of the squad. Now, Jeff Green and Isaiah Thomas, more so Jeff Green, he's more of a role player, right? So he doesn't necessarily have to practice every single day to understand the other squad strengths and weaknesses because he's only being put on the court for certain situations, all right? But practice would not hurt, okay? I'm not saying practice is a bad thing. Practice wouldn't hurt this squad. But at the same time, this squad is also an older squad. You know, generally, older championship squads, they don't practice as much, okay? And that's the difference between the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Golden State Warriors. The Golden State Warriors are still in their prime, okay? The Golden State Warriors are still going to be dominating for a long period of time, all right? And when you're talking about the Cleveland Cavaliers, they see the window is damn near shut, okay? Because when LeBron James goes down, or LeBron James can't duplicate on a consistent basis of his athleticism, then you're going to have games where they're going to get beat. They almost got beat to the Orlando Magic. Thank God for the referees. Because if the referees were not there, the Cleveland Cavaliers would have lost again. Okay? So, that's why the Cleveland Cavaliers are squandering leads. That's why the Cleveland Cavaliers cannot defend on a consistent basis. That's why the Cleveland Cavaliers can't duplicate their success on a consistent basis. One aspect, chemistry. How you get chemistry, you have to practice. And on the other hand, there are much older teams. That's why you keep hearing all of these trade rumors. You keep hearing rumors like DeAndre Jordan, now J.R. Smith going to the Clippers. Christian Thompson, as well as J.R. Smith, going to the Clippers for DeAndre Jordan. I don't see the Clippers doing that deal because the only way they will accept J.R. Smith, they wouldn't mind Christian Thompson, but the only way they're going to accept J.R. Smith if they package that Brooklyn pick. And the Cleveland Cavaliers organization is not going to package a trade or a deal for that Brooklyn pick because that's their plan B. If LeBron James leaves, and LeBron James is not talking to the Cleveland Cavaliers as far as staying longer than just this season. So if you're not sure what direction LeBron James is going next year, you don't want to be in the same situation again when LeBron James leaves and you don't have a plan B. That's their plan B. They're going to rebuild. And I've been saying for the longest, do not be surprised if the Cleveland Cavaliers look at the standings, look who they have to play against in the East, and also look at the top team, which is the Golden State Warriors. They're probably going to have to play against them in the finals. And the Cleveland Cavaliers organization goes, and players have already admitted this, well, this squad cannot beat or even keep up with the Golden State Warriors. Therefore, it's going to be another sweep. Therefore, why should we keep all of these players? Let's go ahead and break it up now. Um, let's get something for Christian Thompson. Let's get something for J.R. Smith. Let's get something if we can move Kevin Love. But there's no takers for Kevin Love. NBA teams love Kevin Love as a person. They love his talent, but his salary does not equal his talent or potential. The salary is extremely too large for that player, meaning a lot of NBA organizations are not going to pick up Kevin Love. They're not even going to entertain a phone call. So do not be surprised if the Cleveland Cavaliers start dumping players. All right. Now, Dwayne Wade, he's probably going to be there to the end of the season. LeBron James, likewise. Okay. But do not be surprised if they trade Isaiah Thomas and get some decent players that can probably hold their own in the Eastern Conference. And if the Golden State Warriors are still there, even with this current crop of players that they had, probably they would have been swept again. It's an 80% chance they would have been swept by the Golden State Warriors of this year's finals. Okay? So do not be surprised if the brass of Dan Gilbert as well as the Cleveland Cavaliers organization start getting rid of these contracts and getting rid of these players, cleaning the slate. So when the NBA season is over with, when the finals are over with, they're going to look towards the future, right? With that Brooklyn pick, and if they look up and get any more picks, that's a plus. You know, they were never going to re-sign Isaiah Thomas. Isaiah Thomas is looking for a max contract. The Cleveland Cavaliers would love to have Isaiah Thomas, but Isaiah Thomas wants a max contract, and the Cleveland Cavaliers are not going to do it. They're not going to be able to do. Okay? So, Isaiah Thomas is probably going to be looking this free agency, hoping someone would sign him to a max contract. And I don't think a lot of teams are going to do that. Maybe one or two if they're real desperate and they don't have anything else, then they'll probably sign him to a max contract. Christian Thompson is probably going to the Clippers. That's where he wants to go. He wants to be in California anyway, closer to Khloe Kardashian, more so than trying to get championships. He's already earned his money. I mean, he already got his money. He already got his ring. There's really nothing for Christian Thompson to do. Christian Thompson is not trying to be the best player of the NBA, and Christian Thompson knows his limitations and his potential. He's never going to be one of the top 3 in the NBA. No way, no how. Okay? So, with all of this being said, Isaiah Thomas, his comments, even though he said this, I believe a couple of weeks back about the Cleveland Cavaliers, if you look at the Cleveland Cavaliers from perspective, they're an older team, they're an older squad, they're salary strapped, they can't add any more players. They're already over the salary cap. Dan Gilbert is not going to pay any more on the salary cap. And do not be surprised if the Cleveland Cavaliers have a semi-fire sale this NBA trade deadline. A lot of teams that are in the playoffs and believe that they can prolong their playoffs lives, they may be interested in a Christian. Well, the Clippers will be interested in Christian Thompson. But when you're talking about Kevin Love, when you're talking about J.R. Smith, when you're talking about all those other players that the Cleveland Cavaliers have, they may have takers, and the Cleveland Cavaliers will gladly give up these players for the future, as well as adding a couple of players for LeBron James to see if he can win a title. He's not going to win a title with the Cleveland Cavaliers this year unless the Golden State Warriors, unless Kevin Durant is out for the season, if Chef Curry is out for the season, then they can win, with LeBron James, and a bunch of other players. Okay, the Cleveland Cavaliers have been known to do this. Remember, LeBron James, back in the day when he took the Cleveland Cavaliers to the finals to beat the San Antonio Spurs, they got beat. But look at the squad and the roster LeBron James had to play alongside with. Okay, even if he get rid of the squad, get rid of some of these players from this squad, all right. All you need is a couple of players to get, past the East. Okay, it's the problem with the Cleveland Cavaliers, and the problem they're going to have is in the finals when they play the Golden State Warriors. They don't have the players to match up with the Golden State Warriors now, so do not be surprised. Like I said, the Cleveland Cavaliers do a semi-fire sale and get rid of some of the players that they have for takers, for draft picks mainly, but a couple of players to get them at least past the East, the competition in the East. When you got LeBron James, I don't see an Eastern Conference team that can beat the Cleveland Cavaliers in 4 games in a series. The Celtics can push it to the limit. The Milwaukee Bucks can do that also. Okay, but when you talk about the rest of the teams in the East, I don't see that. Maybe the Boston Celtics can win 2 games, maybe 3. The same can be said with the Milwaukee Bucks. Okay, they're long and they're athletic, but they're also young. They don't have the experience to handle the Cleveland Cavaliers in a series in the playoffs. Okay, so that's the dilemma that they're in, and we're just going to have to wait and see. But do not be surprised if the Cleveland Cavaliers have a semi-fire sale. They're not going to trade away that Brooklyn pick. That's their plan B. And if they can get other assets, other draft picks, okay, that's going to be their plan B for next year. Dan Gilbert and the Cleveland Cavaliers organization, this has been a year in the making. If you've been following the tea leaves, they've been planning for plan B since last year. Okay, and that's why there's a disconnect between LeBron James and the organization. The organization is not going to keep paying luxury tax to accommodate LeBron James when LeBron James is not accommodating the Cleveland Cavaliers as far as an extension. So why go through all of this just to go to the finals and possibly get swept by the Golden State Warriors again? Okay, but it is what it is. Guys, tell me what you think. Rate, comment, subscribe. It's your boy. I'm Chris the Don One. I'm out.